Regeneration and development in Belfast. Post-Brexit property landscape? Right. Let's talk Belfast. Not just Titanic and Game of Thrones stuff. I mean the real Belfast. The one bubbling under the surface, changing faster than you can say planning permission. Now, rewind 5 or 6 years. Remember the post-Brexit panic? Sterling dropping, buyers pulling out of chains, and everyone wondering whether Belfast would become some sort of no man's land between the UK and the EU. Fast forward to now? Well, it's not all doom and gloom. Actually, it's surprisingly exciting. And no, I'm not just saying that because I'm in property, though it helps. I've been watching Northern Ireland's capital quietly reinvent itself. A bit scrappy, a bit gritty, but that's where the magic's happening. Let's get into it. What's actually changing? First off, regeneration. You can't talk Belfast right now without mentioning the £1 billion Belfast Region City deal. Yep, 1 billion quid. You read that right. Infrastructure, digital innovation, tourism. The city's laying the groundwork for its next chapter, and property investors are sniffing around already. Example? Look at the Linen Quarter. 5 years ago, it was sleepy, bit tired. Now, cafes, co-working spaces, PR firms, you name it. I helped a couple buy a buy-to-let there back in 2022. A former office space turned slick one-bed apartment. They were nervous. Is this really the right area? They asked. Well, let's just say they're now considering a second unit in the same block. Then there's Titanic Quarter. I mean, sure, it's had its fans for a while, but what's happening now is next level. High-spec apartments, tech firms moving in, and student accommodation that looks more like boutique hotels. I had a landlord recently who bought a flat there for under £200,000 in 2020. It's now valued close to £260,000. Not bad, eh? Brexit? Still a thing. But not how you think. Here's the twist. Because of the Northern Ireland Protocol, Belfast sits in this weirdly attractive grey zone. Still in the UK, yes, but with trade access to the EU? Investors from the Republic are paying attention. So are some from the continent. The result? Cross-border interest in both residential and commercial property is picking up. I was chatting with a solicitor last week who mentioned a noticeable uptick in conveyancing requests from EU nationals looking to set up shop in Belfast. It's the back door to the EU, one buyer told me. And it's a bargain compared to Dublin. Fair enough, but what about residential buyers? Locals? Now this bit's trickier. Prices in parts of Belfast, especially South Belfast, have risen sharply. First-time buyers are being squeezed out, and some areas are bordering on gentrification. Or already there. You know the drill. Pop-up bakeries, artisan gin distilleries, and suddenly a 3-bed terrace costs more than your nan's house in Surrey. Still, there are gems. East Belfast has these post-war sennies with gardens. Yes, actual gardens that families love. And in North Belfast, I've helped a couple of savvy investors snag HMO properties near the university. They're not pretty, but the yield? Wow. One's pulling in 9.5% net. Try finding that in London. Construction's picking up too, but slowly. There's demand. No doubt. The problem? Supply. Delays, planning red tape, and the usual developer headaches. A mate of mine working on a mint-size apartment scheme near the city center told me they're 6 months behind schedule. Why? Materials, planning holdups, workforce issues, you name it. That said, the long-term outlook looks pretty solid. Belfast City Council's local development plan is pushing for 60,000 new homes by 2035. That's ambitious, but not impossible. And if it even half delivers, we're in for a very different housing market in 10 years. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Rents. Rents are rising fast, especially in areas near the city center, Queen's University, and the Titanic Quarter. A one-bed that rented for £650 in 2019 now pushes £850. I've had tenants practically beg me to let them view a flat before it hits the market. Honestly, if you're a landlord right now, it's your time to shine. But of course, it's a balancing act. More renters equals more pressure equals more regulation. Landlords need to be on the ball with compliance, especially as local authorities tighten up licensing and standards. A colleague got stung recently for non-compliance with the HMO license renewal. Cost him thousands. Lesson learned. Okay, let's wrap it up sort of. What's the big picture? Belfast's not just surviving the Brexit era, it's evolving. It's got grit, opportunity, and whisper it, affordability. Is it perfect? Nope, but the smart money's watching. The even smarter money already buying. So if you're sitting on the fence, wondering whether to dip your toe in the Northern Irish market, maybe it's time to lace up your boots and go for a wander. Because honestly, I've got a feeling Belfast's just getting started.